Once you have a set of target keywords that you want to optimize for, the next step is to start experimenting with the listing optimization. Now, something I want to point out here is that it may not necessarily be straightforward how you optimize for the app marketplace or whatever store that you're participating in. So it kind of depends on how established it is and whether there are enough suppliers on that market for there to be a set of rules that people have discovered in terms of what optimizes your listing. Now, if you're on one of those established marketplaces like Amazon or Google Play, you can just Google to find out what those elements are. So they're going to be key things like the title, the subtitle, HTML information. But what I'm going to provide for you is kind of a framework for looking at app listings in general and looking for patterns in terms of what may be driving the performance in terms of getting to the top of search results. So here, for example, I'm looking at apps.com, which is one of the main marketplaces for Intuit. And what I've done is I've selected the category calculate quotes. So instead of doing a search, I just went into this category. And there are a list of different apps here. So one of the things that stands out most to me is that the number one app in the listing simply has the most amount of reviews, and not by a small margin. Look at this. Almost 2,000 reviews. Second place, only 50. So the number of reviews is often a strong driver of where your ranking is in App Store optimization. And there are different ways that you can get more reviews. And one of the easiest ones is to simply identify who your most satisfied customers are using your Net Promoter Score, using just feedback from the customer success managers, looking at behavior. So somebody that's using it more frequently is probably more satisfied with it, and just prompting them in your app. Or if you're selling a physical product, maybe you could email them or give them a call and just say, hey, we'd love to have you write a review. And you have to comply with rules here. So some marketplaces will say you can't actually ask people to write a positive review, but maybe you can incentivize them to write an honest review. So you don't want to get kicked off the marketplace. Okay, I did another search here for construction, and as you can see, the first ranking is the one with the most amount of reviews, and it's by a wide margin. So the first is 318 reviews, second's only 46 reviews. Other thing that stands out here is that the little write-up that's below the name of the app or below the title often has the word construction. So if we look at the top ones here, even this one has construction as well. So I did another search for restaurant. And what we can see here is that the one with the most amount of reviews, 17, is just one more than second place, is still the first ranking, and restaurant is showing up in the second text, like the subtitle here, in most of these cases. Now, the other thing that stands out here is this one, which has only 6 reviews, has restaurant, or restaurants, the plural form, in the actual title. So that suggests that perhaps you get a bonus by having the keyword in the title itself rather than just the subtitle. And that may compensate for the fact that you have fewer reviews. The other thing that would be a good hypothesis is that having the keyword earlier helps. So for example, for the first place ranking, we see restaurant as the first word, whereas here it's actually the third word. Now, I don't know for a fact that that's true, but that's something you can experiment with, putting keywords further to the left, putting keywords in the title instead of the subtitle, and the number of reviews. I went to the Amazon Kindle store and I did a search for sales funnel. And here's the interesting thing. We have 2 books, they're both bestsellers. Now, the second book here has sales funnel actually in the title, and the second book has more reviews. So this raises the question, why is this book ranking above this book? Now, it could just be that it's random testing. So sometimes Amazon might decide, oh, we're going to put randomly give another product a chance, putting it above it, and we'll just see if it gets more sales or not. So that could be happening, but there's probably more to the picture here, and let's dive a little bit deeper. So one of the key things here is that this .com secrets book actually has the keyword sales funnel everywhere. Okay, it's in the title, it's in a ton of reviews. In fact, there's an entire review section that you can click that says contains the category of sales funnel. So it's been stuffed with that keyword. So it's a bit of a mystery as to why this one is showing up above that one. So one of the first things is looking at the HTML. So I just right-clicked when I was in the section for this book, and I viewed the source. So I looked at the actual HTML. And there's where you're starting to see the word funnel. Now, if you just look on the front end of this book, there's very little talking about funnel. I think I found one review mentioning funnel. But when you look in the HTML, then you start seeing it everywhere. So that suggests that if you want your Amazon book to rank higher for a given keyword, you need to optimize where you can using HTML metadata. Okay, now the second factor here is that Amazon wants to make money. And they're going to prioritize products that are more likely to make money. So your listing optimization is not just about, can I stuff it full of keywords? Okay, that may be your first consideration, because if nobody's seeing your product, there's no chance they're going to buy. But the other key thing is just, are you actually getting conversions? And are you doing good copywriting that's actually going to generate a sale? Which is the art of marketing in terms of doing sales like these. And if we look at the titles, Sell Like Crazy or .com Secrets, I don't know about you, but my subjective opinion is that this is a much more compelling benefit than this one. It's very clear what the promise is here. You're going to sell like crazy. You're going to make a ton of money. So when I see a book like that, I'm going to buy it. When I see a book that says .com Secrets, I don't know what the benefit is there. There's no clear promise. And not only is there no clear promise, but there's no clear North Star in terms of what that promise is. Here it's sell like crazy, right? There's a descriptor there. It's not just sell a lot. There's an emotional appeal there, and there's a bit of excitement that gets built. No offense to .com Secrets, doing very well, top seller. I just think from a sales perspective, conversion perspective, there's a reason that this is probably doing better, even though they've probably done a better job seeding reviews here, which is probably the reason that they have more reviews. Okay, if we go to mobile app stores, we can do a similar assessment and just form some hypotheses and test them. So for example, I did a search here for timesheet, and we can see that almost all of the top listings have timesheet in the actual app title. In this case, they're not spacing out those two words, but that's fine. I guess the algorithm is sophisticated enough to recognize what I'm talking about. And then I'm sure that they're going to have timesheet in a bit in the description and perhaps in the HTML data as well. Did another search here for calorie counter, and MyFitnessPal shows up, number one, and almost all of these have calorie counter in the actual title. So you can see that there's a pattern across app stores where you really need to put keywords in your title. Don't get committed to a keyword too early, because you may find when you actually go to market on an app store or marketplace that you got to change it, because that's where the demand is. That's what people are actually searching. Okay, now if we take a closer look at MyFitnessPal, we'll notice that they don't actually have the keyword calorie counter a lot in their write-up, other than seeing it here in the title. But where you do start to see it is in one case, in one review here. So that could be a driver of their search engine optimization. I'm a bit skeptical because I only saw one review that had it. But where I definitely see it is in the HTML. And this is kind of the back end that a lot of people don't realize when they're doing something like App Store optimization, is focusing on the HTML data.